Paulo Coelho. He's yeah.
I only ever dance with my tongue, so that's.
It's very impressive. Take on Me was also a revolutionary. Had the revolutionary video that went with it. That so many of us remember. Paul, you intimated something a second ago when you talked about the different kinds of music you guys were making, even on album one, and over the years, it's been a very diverse, eclectic sounds that have come out of you guys. Including that record Analog, which is a rock record, but a lot of people will always remember that song, and there's a crowd that comes along with that. I want to read the quote from Adam Clayton from U2, who once said that a-ha was always a rather misunderstood band. He said they were looked upon as a group for teenage girls, but in reality they were a very creative band. Do you think you've been misunderstood?
Absolutely. I think that was part of our frustration for many years. It's interesting because just a few days ago I met Ian McCulloch from Echo and the Bunnymen for the first time. And this was a band before we became a pop band, when we were sort of listening to exciting new stuff from England that we were really excited about. And just the fact that he had a relationship with a-ha through, it's something that you don't really think about, because there's quite a difference in how a-ha looked in 1985 and how Echo and the Bunnymen looked.
Yes.
But he was saying things like, talking about things, even like talking about Foot to the Mountain, how it affected him to hear something like that come out of a band so far down their career, and how it affected his mind to think of his own creativity at this point. And he was saying about Take On Me that to him it sounded like an Egyptian scroll, which I thought was a wonderful remark. And yes, I think we felt misunderstood and we suffered because of it. But at the same time, we did all those photo shoots. We made all the videos. We did the things that put us in that area. And we also did a lot of other things that made it hard for people to define us. And if anything, to be hard to define is a much better position than to be a caricature, even if it's by your own design. So I think the freedom that we have given ourselves is that there was unpredictability.
Are you talking about Ian McCulloch now?
I'm talking about us. I think it's difficult to live with being a one-trick pony. I don't think any of us feel like that. Although Take On Me is the flagship, is the one that people, talk about mostly, unless they're really intimate with the band's history.
Every generation knows it, right?
Yeah.
Kids that weren't born when it came out know that song.
Certainly for me, speaking for me, I have complete closure on that thing, and it's fine. That song is still out there working its balls off on our behalf, and we should be respectful for that reason alone.
Morten, I read an interview with you. I think I was in the UK last summer. It was in the Guardian, and you were lamenting the fact that there's so much focus on your looks. Do you feel like do you agree with Adam Clayton's sentiment that a-ha has been fundamentally misunderstood over the years?
Yeah, I do. Because we have, and the fact that we are here today, and not necessarily here in Canada today, but around, is that
you are in Canada today.
Our main work is more complex and in a way, and deeper and wider level, and the superficial aspect of what we are and what is possible to sell instantly took completely over in those days, and was the only focus really. So that was tough to deal with, because we were in that respect completely naive.
What could you have done differently, or what would you have done differently to avoid that focus?
Well, had we been more educated, I suppose, in how things work and the mechanisms behind success.
Well, gone to fame school.
And what would you have done? More black?
I wouldn't have changed anything personally.
What do we do differently today is really the question, because we are still us, and we're doing the same. We're doing music that we believe in, and we wouldn't have been.
But you said you weren't educated. You didn't know. So you didn't, or you weren't ready for it. So how could you have?
it's really about understanding that whatever you do has consequences, and you need to like the consequences that you can foresee.
I think
Today,
in the end you have to just be grateful for what you got and not
but
focus
that
on the
doesn't-
things that you didn't get.
but
You
that-
know,
but that's a
Um,
different.
I
That's
don't.
a different focus.
I don't mean that you're saying that,
But,
but I think
but you're asking what could we have done differently, and what would we have done
I mean,
differently?
the
And-
thing is,
Theoretically.
when you have a number one hit
Yeah.
and it's a pop song,
The-
maybe this is what you got to.
Well,
it comes with
tell,
it, right?
I'll tell you what I would have done differently with us. I would not have reacted as heavily to this focus. I would have seen through it, past it, and beyond it, and I would have kept believing in our own navigating skills in terms of what music to choose, how to produce it, how to direct the whole thing.
that
and
only
not
has
be-
meaning
'cause
to
we were-
an
we sh-
internal.
No, but we shied
mechanism.
away. We shied away from things and started becoming much more heavily wrapped in a different direction, trying to steer away from that type of success. And I don't believe that's the way to do it. We would have we have through Take On Me as well achieved the type of longevity and success that we would want to, that we would feel honors the work that we're doing.
Paul, on this question of being misunderstood, when now especially, it seems like there's all kinds of peers of yours, especially very highly successful and credible peers, if you will, like U2 and Coldplay and Keane, saying that you were a great influence on them. Is that validation somehow? Do you feel particularly proud to hear that? To make a difference to you?
It's well, yeah. It's no matter who it is, it's always great to have somebody say that you had an impact, in something, their life or whatever. So it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't change whether it's from a guy, but to hear comments like that is. It does have an impact, but I don't sort of linger with it. It's not something I walk around thinking about a lot.
I can't believe Coldplay said that. You don't
no,
think
that's
spend
not
your
me.
days in the bath thinking
No.
about what Coldplay has to say.
No, but when you know the type of work that they represent,
Yeah.
it tells you who's behind the comment. So it says something about what they do themselves and what they're looking for in music
For
themselves.
me, this is
I think
like
it's pretty
one of
cool.
the best things about our comeback since 2000 has been exactly this: to have that, to see that the music you made had an impact and had had meaning to a generation of people growing up with our music. That's the best. That's exactly, that's a great feeling, and that sort of brings closure to the whole thing.
Well, now hang on a second. Before you bring the closure, let's just put the dots together.
Yeah, because
You,
that's
you
his
know
job.
each you know each other well. You're more educated in terms of how the business goes than you've ever been. Your last album, this latest record, has done really well in the UK. It's about to come out here, and you've got the praise of all of these peers. So I know I'm not going to convince you not to call it quits, because you've got the farewell tour and the visuals that go with it, and everything at the concert. But why are you breaking up?
Depends who you ask, I guess. But
Yeah.
the fact remains that we have had a wonderful career together. I guess you have to ask yourself, what's ahead? Are you going to keep inspiring each other to make better and better records? That you'll never have that answer, but you have. You were talking about Leonard Cohen and octogenarians earlier. Not all.
He's a septuagenarian, but
Not all artists get better with age. I think we have a wonderful opportunity now to leave. I mean, every party has an end, and you're often wise to leave before you get thrown out. And I want Aha to be, for my sake, and I want people to see it the same way, as something really great. I would hate for it to fall apart in a way that wasn't befitting the enormous and incredible ride that we've had together. And this seems like a perfect opportunity to call it a day and to celebrate the time we had together. No one knows what the future will bring, but that is, you have to kind of make that call yourself. And I think, not enough people do. not that I mind the irony of someone like Roger Daltrey singing "Hope I Die Before I Get Old" at 70, but it's definitely a different statement than when you're 20.
Yeah.
So for me, this is like a rare opportunity to turn it into a celebratory thing as opposed to falling apart at a later date.
Okay. Well said. I understand that. Morten?
Oh, I didn't expect to have to add to this. I think it's a creative move for all of us. I think it'll have very positive impact on further things for all three of us. It's a great opportunity to focus on and embrace a wonderful career, which you otherwise don't get. It wakes you up as well. It's a real kick in the butt to know that you are actually stopping and you're planning it. It's the first time in our career that we've planned ahead.
But the thing was the only thing we got to plan.
But the thing is, you did plan ahead.
Yeah.
You obviously, this was calculated. You sat down, whatever the negotiation was. I know you all probably had different positions on this, and you talked to each other. And okay, this is what we're going to do, and then we're going to do a final tour. But then you're on the tour, and you're playing in all these parts of the world, and you know things change a little bit, right? I mean, maybe it feels good, or you see opportunities. I mean,
I find it stimulating. You know, I do. I do. I think it stimulates everyone in the band.
So you're excited about it?
It doesn't excite me, but it stimulates.
You're
things.
getting short of breath there.
but I understand that you find it stimulating, but not enough to want to continue as a band. It doesn't change anything.
You can't
Don't
have
get
both. You can't be stimulated by the fact that you're quitting and then
I
carry
see.
on
You're
as a band.
stimulated
You've
by
got
the
to
quitting.
choose here. Yeah.
Paul, do you want to plead the fifth, say nothing on this, or would you
No,
like?
I mean, 25 years is a good run for any band. Most bands last 2-3 years. So we've had a great run, and there is a lot of wear and tear on a band. We've managed to stay together for a long, long time, and we've done some great stuff, and we've had a fantastic. We've done so many things, so I think we're all very appreciative on that. And we see the sort of responses we get now from playing all the shows. It is a great thing. Could we have gone on? Maybe we could have, but we didn't.
Clearly, you could.
Yeah.
You
Like responsible parents, we will, even in a divorce situation, do what's good for the kids. We have created this together, and
Now there's two of you doing this.
Hey man, the Eagles said when hell freezes over. You guys are a lot nicer about it than that. So it's every reason to believe you'll be back in 10 years or 20 years.
well, that sounds like you're ending it on a bad note.